Hey everyone. Well, I went live before I intended to go live. I'm not set up on my laptop yet. So, let me do so. I don't know. Also, let me see if I can figure out the placement of this camera again, because it seems to change every time. That might be decent. Back it up a little bit more. What do I have here? Maybe that. We'll try that. All right, YouTube. Usually I try to put my laptop over here, but I'm going to try to do it over here today. You guys let me know if it looks too wonky. Let me make sure. There we go. My audio is actually coming through. All right, there we go. Mr. Tolson in the house. Dave Tuttle, Jack McLaughlin, Piper on the 45, EK341 says, I got my first Savinelli Series 3 from you in the mail the other day. Smokes like a dream and your shipping was crazy good. Thank you. That always makes me happy to hear. The Midnight Piper. What's up? Looks good, sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Tolson. Michael Schinkel. Bill joins. Yeah, you missed the Black Friday sale. I had it going for, I think, 4 days. Did it Thanksgiving through Sunday night. I think through mid-Monday, actually. But it's gone now. All right. Justin LeMay, Frank Cease, welcome all. I won't be able to keep track of who I've shouted out and who I haven't at this point. We already got 25 or more in the house. All right. I was trying to figure out what to smoke. I think I'm going to crack open a tin of Elizabethan mixture because I haven't smoked this in some time, months, maybe more than a year. I use this little keychain screwdriver. Any screwdriver works to open these tins, but you probably can't see that. It's a Craftsman, came in a tool set I've got. But I just leave it out here on my table. And it works just about as good as anything else to pry open the little edges of these tins. Smooth Piper, glad you're here, mate. All right, look at that pristine placement of the, what do you call this, ruffle? Is there a name for this thing? I used to think that was magic back in my early days of pipe smoking, that ruffle fits just like that. Peterson, made in Denmark. Who'da thunk? course, they've made them and made the Peterson blends in Denmark for some time now, I believe. But I'll tell you what's not made in Denmark is this Peterson of Dublin Filter Series pipe. This is the 999 shape. I really like this stretched out shape. And that's what I'm going to load up with the Elizabethan mixture. Boca de Boynton. Good, glad you can make it tonight. It's kind of a running joke now, as I always say. This may be a short one. I'd really like to get in the habit of making these about 30 to 45 minutes, and bam, we're done. You know, I don't want to feel like I'm overstaying my welcome and you guys are just tuning in just because I'm still dragging my feet and not closing out. So we'll see. We'll see if I can cut it at about the 45-minute mark tonight. Hour tops. Let's do that. Let's shoot for an hour tops. Yeah, dry fly fisher. I really like this shirt. It's fairly new to me. Elect Baggins for, what's it say, for a better shire? Elect Baggins for a better shire. Let me bring this down just a smidge. All right. Humdrum, stick around. I'm sure you'll make some new friends online and learn new stuff as well. Or maybe you might find you could teach us some new stuff and you start making videos. Elizabethan to me tastes way different than other vapors like a Scudo, Luxury Navy, etc. It probably, I would guess, just based on other Peterson blends, I'm sure it has some sort of topping on it or casing that's, let's see if I'm back. Am I back? My apologies. I never remember to put my phone on Do Not Disturb before I start these things. Can you guys still hear me? I've got my mic still plugged into the phone. And I've got a newer phone recently. It keeps asking me if it's a set of, oh, thank you, Tolson. Keeps asking me if it's a set of headphones or earbuds or if it's something else. You would think this smartphone would be smart enough now to know. My old one knew. They were both iPhones. What the heck? But anyway, as long as the mic is still working, that's good. I guess the mic is still working. I'm going to tap it. Does that sound like I'm tapping a mic? Or is it using the mic on the phone? What do you think? There we go. Yes. Sorry, guys. I had to know. If I never checked and asked, I would hate to find out 2-3 years down the line that every single time I plugged in this mic, it didn't really work. I think I've only got a 2 or 3 second delay today on the live feed. Aaron, I'm with you. One full pipe is typically about an hour for me. I seem to recall matches would say that certain blends are a good 20 to 30 minute smoke. I'm like, wow. That's quite the cadence you have there, sir. There we go. So I'm using this, I think this is called gunmetal finish, Kabuto. Or maybe it's a black nickel. I think it's a black nickel is what they call it. But this was actually returned to me because the buyer thought it wasn't reliable enough as far as the light, but it works enough for me, well enough for me to just keep rolling with it. Most of the time it strikes first time. Every now and then you have to strike it 2 or 3 times. So I wound up not even sending it back for warranty. I was like, I like the look at that I don't have one of those in my West parlor, so I'll just hang on to it. I forgot to turn on my heater out here. Let me do that. Florida boy can't get below, 68 without getting cold. Sad but true. This morning I started the day, it was 50 degrees out here. What am I drinking? Midnight Piper. I'm drinking some, well, I haven't started yet, but Dogfish Head, 60-minute. I typically get my brews at the Publix down the street, but I'm going to stop doing that because they've done some reorganization and they don't carry but about half of the beer they used to carry. So I'm going to start going back to a local place down the street. This is about the only IPA they had that I wanted that was any kind of decent price. Uh-oh. Almost lost my pipe. Oh, Bill, I'm sure you know I'm a Perique fan. I'm sure there's more in the field here. Yes, I do love the Bob and Doug McKenzie. You know, it was when I was in high school, we quoted that movie, me and my little group of friends, so much. I mean, we watched that Strange Brew movie over and over and over again. And we all talked like that when we were together, not with anyone else. It did come out occasionally in other groups of friends, and they just thought we were nuts. Midnight Piper, it's not cheap. A 6-pack of that stuff's $10.99 for the Dogfish Head. Did I say it was Dogfish Head? 60-minute IPA? Maybe I told you guys wrong because I've been buying a lot of other stuff recently, going to the local place, but today I went back to the Publix that I really need to swear off. But some of my favorite brews these days are all IPAs. I like the Dogfish Head 60-minute, but it's not my preference. I really like the Voodoo Ranger and the Voodoo Ranger Imperial by New Belgium. My favorite is probably Elysian's Space Dust IPA. I really like Bell's Two Hearted. And there's a local brewery called Pensacola Bay Brewery that makes something called Little Napoleon IPA. Only available around here, I do believe. But it's fantastic. Frank, I got that pipe cabinet from an Etsy seller. I do have a review. I've got a presentation video and a review video on my channel if you want to look for that. I think you can just search pipe cabinet in my channel videos. Yardism, you're asking where does Acadian Perique come from? You mean what brand or what location? I think you might be messing with me. But Acadian Perique is made by McBaron. It's part of the HH line, if anybody doesn't know. That line is known for not having anything in the way of topping. And I do believe minimal casing. So very true tobacco taste. It's just called Acadian Perique. It's a Virginia Perique blend. I think it's got some Black Cavendish in it. And maybe some other stuff. I think it's got a little bit of Orientals in it. Don't quote me on that. It's been a little while since I've smoked that too. But, you know, all that Perique comes from Louisiana. Stratman plume is typically white, and it doesn't grow, or at least it doesn't grow that much. You know what I mean? I wouldn't really describe plume as fuzzy, and I would think of mold as fuzzy, like my nasty beard here. But plume typically looks flat on the tobacco. It doesn't look like it's growing up. Kind of my best stab at answering that question, but hopefully that helps. Yep, and the band has a good song about Acadians. It's called Acadian Driftwood. And Chad, I imagine you've heard that one. It's on, I think, Northern Lights Southern Cross. I haven't seen any Brewdog beers, so not in my neck of the woods, Jack. I used to really like Shiner Bock. I really liked Bock beers. I still do, but these days IPAs are where it's at for me. 9 times out of 10, if not more, I'm hankering for an IPA. Let's see what this one tastes like. Yeah, it's a bit sharp. It's not as citrusy to me as some of the other ones I like. High Lie's another good one, from Tampa Bay Brewery. That's another Florida brew. Maddie Murphy, welcome from Ireland. The Little Napoleon IPA I was talking about, that's here in Pensacola. It's has all of the attributes of a good IPA that I look for, but at the same time, it's got a little something else to it that kind of reminds me of a red ale. Not much, just enough to make it stand out. Deschutes Fresh Squeezed. I don't believe so. I've never heard that either. If I pronounced that right. Donald. Hammer, welcome. Reese Stevenson in the house. Man, we're rocking now. Where's Cliff Higgins? There we go. There he is. Yep. I did mention Northern Lights Southern Cross by the band. I just like them all. Humdrum, I would agree. If the Brits are calling American beers pissy beers, but not craft beers. I think about, you know, a lot of lagers, a lot of domestic lagers are, you know, Busch, Budweiser, Miller, all those kinds of beers. They just don't have much in the way of taste for me, and they all kind of taste the same. I used to drink them, in my early days, but um, not no more, buddies. But drink what you like. I just don't like those anymore. Same with pipe tobaccos and certain pipe tobaccos. I used to smoke a lot of Lane aromatics, and I just don't anymore. Guinness is good beer. I like Guinness. A lot of people are scared of it. A lot of my friends are like, I don't know how you drink that. But to me, it's like drinking a milkshake, a melted milkshake. And just so you know, I'm not kidding. When I say I ice my beer, I do ice my beer. Typically, particularly the IPAs. Kind of takes the edge off of them. And Andrew, I do like stouts. Hammer, thank you for your business, sir. Or madam. Bill, I agree with you there. Too many great tobaccos out there to just stick with one. And this Elizabethan is just doing it nicely tonight. Fresh out of the open can. I've had more relights than I like to have, but that's kind of par for the course with doing a live stream. Yeah, so IPA typically is a bit much for me on its own, particularly the ones I like. They're like typically 7% to 9% alcohol by volume. And the ice just kind of takes a little bit of the edge off of them. And maybe it's my pipe filter of beer. Oh no, that's not my full cellar, Stratman. That's just what I keep out here in the West Parlor. Daniel Leslie, welcome. Yeah, I drink my coffee black too. I went years and years, and that's another kind of a similarity to pipe tobacco. You know, I tried smoking pipe tobacco aromatics mostly for years. I drank coffee for years with amaretto creamer and Irish creamer, and Kahlua creamer. And one day just decided, you know, I needed to knock all that sugar out of my diet for one thing, but I just decided if I couldn't drink coffee on its own without all that stuff in it, why drink it at all? And now I love drinking black coffee. Can't imagine putting creamer in it. Daniel, I'm not sure about Radice pipes. I've never had one myself. And if I recall, they're a bit on the pricey side. I'd have to look into that to get, and get back with you. And I don't believe they make filtered pipes. Not that that's a deal breaker, but I do prefer carrying pipe brands that at least have the option for some kind of filter in most of their lines. Peterson being the exception there, but I started with their 9mm filtered line. And I'll add some other, I've got the Dracula pipes now that are unfiltered. But I knew a lot of people liked Peterson's, and I finally found Peterson's that I liked in the 9mm filtered series, the Dublin filter series. But I don't know, Radice. I'll have to look up what their pricing is and if they have filters or not. I don't think they do. Stratman, what tobacco do I have the most of aging? Old Dark Fired. No doubt. Old Dark Fired, I probably got 20 tins. And half of those are the 3.5 ounce tins. Probably next to that would be Irish Flake, Peterson's Irish Flake. And I have a pretty good bit of University Flake aging as well. Sounds like the wife just pulled in. Briar Blues, thank you. I might have to look into that for the Radice pipes for the future. Then again, there's only so much money and only so much time. But I'm not going to say I would never carry them. Definitely would need to get my hands on at least one sample pipe to get started with. But I know Mike at Briar Blues is a fan, and I don't think he would steer any of us wrong. Mike, I would appreciate that if you could send me his information. I'm the pipe nook at outlook.com. I am Neo. I'm sticking with the beard until 2021. Then I think I'm going to shave the sides off and just kind of keep this for a little while. And then I'll probably shave it all off. But I'm going to go till my birthday, I think, which is January 6th. And then I'll start playing with it before I make it go away. It's really not growing in thick and full. You know, it's not a handsome beard by any stretch. And I don't like not knowing in the morning where the line is between my hair and my beard. But anyway, yeah, just not, probably not something that's going to stick around forever. Yeah, 150 to 200 for a Radice. That's not bad. That might be my next tier level. I just moved into that price range with the Beltane's fire pipes from Rattray's. Thank you, Mike. I would appreciate that. Yeah, Mr. Tolson, I'm the opposite on that. Like, the Bull Kentucky and the Old Dark Fired, both from McBaron, they're similar, but I like the Old Dark Fired better. And between these two, the John Cotton's Dark Fired, not latakia. Well, I already smoked it. But between John Cotton's Dark Fired and Kentucky blends, I like the Kentucky blend better. That's why the 10's gone. But I would favorably compare those two blends to McBaron's Dark Fired and Bold Kentucky, with the equivalency being the McBaron's Old Dark Fired is more like John Cotton's Kentucky, and John Cotton's Dark Fired is more like McBaron's Bold Kentucky. So the names are kind of flip-flopped as far as similarities to my taste. Daniel, I didn't. Those are two different things. My tastes have changed. Well, let me say, in case nobody saw the comment. Daniel Leslie asked, "What made you switch to filtered pipes instead of switching tobacco for a better smoke?" Those are different things. I've switched. My tobacco taste has changed over the years, and gone from aromatics and mostly Virginias to Burley's, Periques, dark fired. Primarily, that's my wheelhouse now. Um, but no matter what I smoke, I typically have to deal with tongue bite, and I wanted to smoke pretty much daily on a daily basis, and couldn't do that without a pipe filter, so that's why I started using pipe filters, because I found they eradicated tongue bite for me. The charcoal filters do. So the pipe filter thing didn't really have anything to do with, um, you know, types of, or level of enjoyment, aside from the fact that it just burned my mouth. So now I can smoke whatever I want to smoke, instead of looking specifically just for tobaccos that didn't burn me as much, even though pretty much all tobacco still bothers me a little bit when it comes to that. Now I can just smoke whatever I want, and it's not an issue. And that really opened up my pipe smoking for me. Salvages, Salvages. I think we are going to get a new Iron Maiden album in 2020. I think we are. And that will have been, well, maybe 2021, maybe early 2021. That would have been about 5 or 6 years since the last one. Oh, hung up on my own cable. Oh, Bill joins. That Redburn is good stuff, man. Yeah, PVD Piper. I knew I wanted a pipe hutch or a pipe cabinet very similar to the one Matches had. And I believe I found the same person who made his on Etsy. He didn't order his, it was a present from his workplace, but Cliff, you said you love lap bombs. I cannot remember. Have you tried the 10 Russians from Captain Earl's? Very good. For me, I've got to be in the mood for latakias. I've been smoking a decent bit more latakia lately in the past month or two than I typically do. I've been smoking through some Captain Earl's Diamond Head, which is kind of right in the middle of the road as far as latakia content in their 8 blend series. It's probably 4 or 5 in latakia strength. Actually, I marked it. I marked it as 6th, so it's probably just below stimulus package, which would be 7. And 10 Russians is definitely number 8 as far as latakia strength. Do I consider the outfield one-hit wonders? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. That's a way to get me going. Talk about the outfield as a one-hit wonder, or say, well, they're just like the Police or Men at Work. No, they're very different, and they're not a one-hit wonder. They had 2 or 3 hits on that first album. They had Your Love, All the Love in the World. That was my favorite. Um, I think Every Time You Cry was a minor hit. And then on their second album, the only one I remember them releasing as a single was Since You've Been Gone, which charted. Um, and then on their third album, Voices of Babylon, that title track charted. And then they kind of faded into, a bit of obscurity, but I've got the albums that came after that as well. And they're all good. I love the outfield, but their first 1, 2, 3 albums are my favorites, definitely. That fourth album I used to couldn't stand it. It's called Diamond Days. Um, and they were a 2-piece at that point. Not really much in the way of a band sound, more of a produced sound. But in recent years, I've come around to it. I really do like those songs. But definitely feels different. It doesn't feel quite like a band at that for that particular album. Then their fifth album is called Rock Eye, which came out, I think, in like 94, 95. No, maybe 92. I used to have my CDs right here and I could just pull them out and tell you, but I don't think there were any hits on Rock Eye. They had a minor hit on Diamond Days as well, that fourth album. It was called For You. But The Outfield is one of my favorite bands. And Play Deep, that album behind me, is my favorite album of all time. I do believe. It's up there with like Derek and the Dominoes' Layla. Fleetwood Mac albums. Tusk being my favorite. Okay, well, that was a 5 minute rant on The Outfield. I don't necessarily have a favorite blend to smoke during the holidays, EK 341, but um, I consider the holidays a special time, so I tend to turn out, some special blends that are kind of scarce blends around the holidays, such as Esoterica's Stonehaven. I do have some McClellan's Christmas cheer that I pull out, but I like the idea of the Christmas cheer more than I like smoking it. Oh, Mike, feel free to share whatever, you know, if people ask you questions in chat, I'm totally fine with that. Oh, and for any outfield fans out there, I've probably mentioned this before. Um, it's not available for a physical purchase, but they've got a new release that came out just before Tony Lewis passed away earlier this year. Um, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a bunch of outtakes, alternate takes, you know, to songs that people know and love. It is just a treasure trove for an outfield fan like myself. Oh, let's see. Do you find the quality of filter makes a difference in the draw? I mean, it could, but aside from, let's not talk about 6 millimeter filters for now. 9 millimeter charcoal filters, as far as draw, every one I've tried has been fairly much the same. There's a lot more room in a 9 millimeter filter to pack that charcoal. so, you know, they don't have to pack it tight for it to work. There's plenty of room in there. Now the 6mm pipe filters, they try to put as much as they can in that small space, and those can be constrictive. And what I'll wind up doing with them, if they're too tight, I've only got one left in this pack. If they're too tight to draw, I'll take the stem off. Don't judge me. I'll take the stem off real quick, shake it, put it back in, put the stem on. And that typically takes care of it. But occasionally I'll get a 6mm filter that I just have to toss because it's too tight. But 9mm is definitely my preference. And guys, I'm going to be looking at carrying more 9mm pipes in 2021. That is the plan. It's the year of 9mm for the pipe Nook. I'm sure I'll offer some more, one or two more Peterson lines, but for the most part, I'm going to be focusing on 9mm pipes. Signalman Tony, I didn't catch you come in. Welcome. We're about to close up, I do believe. I'm hitting the 1 hour mark, you guys. I'll go a little bit longer. I got a few more puffs in here. Cliff, you make me laugh. You heard it here, folks. To make your significant other happier with your smelly pipe smell, use Dawn Ultra Platinum. 4 times the cleaning power. Now, to get the aftertaste out of your mouth, Mr. Tolson, I would recommend, what is that stuff called? It's a mouth rinse. It's like a dry mouth rinse. It's a rinse for dry mouth. I can't remember the brand name because I've been getting the Walmart version of it for a year or two now. Somebody else will know what I'm talking about. Hey man, I mean, Lindsey Buckingham's a fantastic guitarist, but you got to think, there are so many great guitarists in the world. To be in the top 100 is pretty amazing. But yeah, I'll bet if I looked at that list of 100 guitar players, Lindsey Buckingham would be much higher than a lot of them in my book. So would Mike Campbell. I would imagine Mike Campbell's probably like number 86 or something like that. He should be in the top 20. Well, top 50 at least. I mean, come on. I'm gonna have to look that Rolling Stone list up. Oh, Piano Piper, hey there. Biotine. See, Mike has all the answers. You guys should just like watch Mike. I don't even know why you tune in to me. Yeah, Biotine is the name of that dry mouth rinse. Very, very good. Clean you right up after a pipe smoke. Cliff knows it too. He ought to known it. Mr. Dentist Man. Oh, I probably missed EK341. But thanks for tuning in if you're still out there. If you could choose only one pipe from your cabinet, which pipe would it be? One pipe. Well, it's not in my cabinet because I keep it right next to me at all times. I've got about 6 or 7 pipes right here that are in my current rotation. This is it. The Rattray's Beltane's Fire. And I have smoked the mess out of this pipe. It's about time to ream it. I've only had it about 6 or 7 months. But it's gotten the most smokes out of any pipe in that time. Faux show. You guys ever get through a pipe and realize you haven't retrohaled a single time? Happens to me from time to time. And I know that's a big part of the enjoyment of a pipe smoke, but I just forget to do it. I would recommend Savinelli for a good Canadian shape pipe. You can look up a Savinelli shape chart or visit my website. They would be in the 800 series of pipe shapes, or the 800 range of pipe shape numbers, I should say. Am I having trouble? Well, I'm just about to the end of this, and we're at the 1 hour 35-minute mark or something like that. So I think I'll go in and say hi to the family. And we're going to sign off. Leave you wanting more, maybe for next week. Instead of doing 2 or 3 hours tonight. But you guys, I enjoyed it. You're quite welcome, Mike. And we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.